Perfect. So welcome everybody. The recording is running. Welcome to the Interact Academy launch webinar. We're very excited here today on the 20th of October to be launching the Interact Academy on time. And we've got lots of good information to share about what it is the Academy does. I'm very lucky. I've got excellent colleagues in the room with me, not least John and Robert, who have been leading on the Academy project, and we have lots to hear from them in a second. I'm also joined by our head of our managing authority, Petra Masakova, and I'll hand over to Petra in a second, maybe just to talk through the background of the Academy and the need that we are responding to with this new tool. Petra, please.
Thank you very much, Kevin, and welcome everybody in the room. I must say I'm very pleasantly surprised how much interest the launch has somehow prompted, and I hope we will not disappoint you over the time. Well, Interact has been existing for over 20 years by now, and the sharing knowledge was always the very core of our work. But in this programming period, we decided to bring it to another level, and that's why we are here today. So from one-off meetings, trainings, and events, we want to move on, but we will, of course, keep what you know. This is yet another tool to support programs by training new colleagues in how to work in the harmonized Interact environment. And by this, we want to save you time and effort in training your new staff. So hopefully you will find it useful over the time. We would like to work in small groups, which we call cohorts. And this will consist of around 20 to 25 students. And we also hope that in these small groups, they not only will learn new things, but also will be able to start building their own networks and contacts across programs, but across Europe as well. We are going to use adult learning techniques, and you will hear about it in a minute, how we envisage this. And the courses should be tailor-made for Interact. Pretty cool, I must say. At the end of each course, when you pass it successfully, you will receive a certificate. And I must say, I love certificates. I'm from Eastern Europe, and when we learn something, we want to have also some tangible result that we learned something. So certificate is a very good tool, how to prove that you gained some knowledge. This is also a quality assurance that the participants not only participate in the training, but also obtain new knowledge. Well, after this short teaser from my side, I will hand over to Jon, who will lead you through the methodology, how we put together the courses, and also tell you about the adult learning techniques, because this is something that maybe not everyone is very familiar with, and how we tailor-make or make the trainings bespoke for Interact. So Jon, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Petra. Yes, hi everyone. It's nice to see you. Like I said, my name is Jon. I'm a bit of a, I always feel like the odd man out in all these Interreg gatherings, because it's not really my background. I'm a teacher and an instructional designer. This is what I have been, is my background. And my education is in teaching and in instructional design. So this is really where I fit in. So for that's why I'm here. What I wanted to share with you is the methodology, the sort of adult learning theory behind the academy. So basically, we have the first thing is that we always start with two assumptions, basically, in our trainings. The first one is that our target audience, you are adults. Like I said, you're not children, and you have jobs, and you're not students. You're here to, we provide training for you to perform better in your job, in your daily work. We're not here to give you a test. We're here to improve your performance. And the second assumption we make is that you need to learn something on your job now. You're not learning just for fun or for preparing a test. So this is really the essence of the difference between adult learning theory, and it's really not so much an adult learning, it's more like a learning in general. We want to place everything in our trainings on the assumption that you don't really need to know, you need to do. So it's not about what you need to know, it's about what you need to do. So we want to prioritize in our certified trainings actions over knowledge, doing over knowing. So this is a very common misconception. The biggest misconception, actually, in when it comes to training, is that information is the key. That the problem is always ignorance, and information is the solution. So you can go back, Robert. Yes, but information is not really magic. There are certain cases where information is the solution and ignorance is the problem. Particularly, for example, if you want to get a good score on a test, or if you want to compete in Who Wants to Be a Millionaire or some sort of a trivia game, then yes, it's about information. But the information by itself is not sufficient when it comes to training for people who have jobs to do. It's about actually making better decisions. So what we want to focus on is on improving your decision making, not just improving your knowledge. Of course, your knowledge is very important. Information is important. You need context. You need the background information, but the information should always be a secondary character. If you think of it like a movie or a play, the lead is the actions, is the practice. Theory is the supporting character. So we want to always prioritize in our certified trainings practice over theory. But don't get me wrong, of course, you need theory as well. So now we can move on to the next slide. So when it comes to training in particular, like I said, it's based on the assumption that we are not a traditional school. Right? You're not in school. You're not learning how to perform well on a test. We're not, giving you grades. We're not about, testing your knowledge. We're about actually improving your performance. So think about, how do you train people in general? How do you train, for example, your child to ride a bike? Here you can see two ways. Now on the left, I would call it the traditional way of training. Most training is done. For example, in the context of bike riding, if you want to train a bike the way it's usually done, you would take your kid and you would, place it in the living room, and you get the projector ready, and you would project some slides, and you can give them a lecture. You can even, you could teach them about the history of bikes, what the bikes are made of, the physics behind bike riding. You can explain, give them a test, and if he understands, solve the equations, how to do balance and counterbalance, etc. But of course, when you put it in this way, it becomes patently absurd, right? It's not enough. Information is not magic. It doesn't, just knowing something doesn't automatically mean that you will implement it. The best way is to do on the right. This is what we all do when we, train people, our kids how to ride a bike, for example. We place the kid on the bike, and we let the kid practice. Of course, we give him a helmet and some training wheels, but then we gradually up the challenge, and then the kid makes mistakes and learns. And for example, if you could go to the left way, to the traditional way. You could learn how to ride a bike for 10 years. You could get a PhD in bike riding. But I would say that my 3-year-old daughter, who just started riding her tricycle for the first time, she would know actually more about bike riding than this theoretical expert who has passed all the tests, written articles and books about bike riding, but has never actually ridden a bike. Because this is how we learn. We learn by doing. We learn by practicing. This is what we want to emphasize with our certified trainings in particular. Okay, you can go to the next one. So the methodology, just briefly, this is a bit technical, but just so you know how it relates to the methodology we want to employ when we design our certified trainings. It's called action mapping. Why action? Action refers to, as we said, what people need to do, not what they need to know. And mapping refers to visual way you can show all the elements of the training and how they depend on each other. So for example, you take a particular role, in this case, the Interact programs, and we can map all the different actions you need to perform. And then we can write the overall learning goal, which should be, this is step one, should be phrased in an action. So the learner needs to be able to do at the end. So they ask, okay, what do they need to do? The second step, and why aren't they doing it? In other words, where do people make mistakes? For example, what is a particular challenging aspect of the job? So we say, okay, this is where people sometimes get confused, or this is a common area of problems. So then, okay, we need to target that. And then we can brainstorm some practice activities around it. Okay, how can we create an exercise around this particular challenge? And then we add the information later, but the information is always the must-have. So we add what must they know, because there are always some things that you must know, some context, some history, some reasons. But that, you know, the information should be like it plays the supporting role, right? It's about supplementing the exercise more than the other way around. And then the final step, step 4, we create this stream of activities and exercises, and then we try to include only the must-have information. In this sense, this way, there's less. In this way, the certified trainings become more focused, and they hone in. We want to hone in on the key areas of the job. You know, because there are certain things part of any job that are easy, everybody knows, no issues. And then it's not so important.
Okay.
You don't need to train people on that. But we want to focus on the problem areas of the roles and create trainings around that. Okay, I think that's it for me. Now, Robert, you can go on to explain the how it works in practice.
Thank you very much, Jon. Thank you very much for this very informative approach to the methodology, what is behind adult learning, but not only learning in general, and so on. But here, let's go into the practice, and maybe a few words. What is the Academy? Why we want to do it? Why, when this idea emerged, and what was the main rationale behind it. So basically speaking, Academy is the brand name under which we would like to share with you our expertise about Interreg in order to offer you this in the short courses and in the certified trainings. It will have, or it has already, a separate place on the Interact website. And the main reason for that is that we want you to find all our trainings in one place. Because before, a long time ago, you know, there were different trainings provided by Interact. They were in different places. No one knew if they will be repeated, if not. Now, the point is that you will have everything in one place. If you want to learn something new, if you want to see what Interact is offering in this regard, you will find it in one place. And you will be also sure that even though some things are not inactive at the moment, they will be, for example, repeated in a half a year or in 1 year. So even though you missed some deadline, you can still come back and see that that certain trainings will be repeated. There is already a website. It's, as I said, it's a subdomain of our Interact website, and it's called academy.interact.eu. It's already up and running. So after this this webinar, you can already go and check and see what we can offer. Of course, I will also tell you more. So basically speaking, we will offer 2 different types of learning methods. The first one is the short courses, and they are nothing else than the typical online learning courses that you can do by yourself. You does not require any further activities, and we want them to be short, which means it should not take more than 2, maybe 3 hours. They cover, of course, very specific subject, and they are quite targeted in terms of topics. So we wanted to keep them short and easy. And of course, the biggest advantage is that you can take them anytime, anywhere, at any point of time, and it's up to you to decide about everything. You will have lifetime access. Lifetime with a short asterisk means that until the website will be financed by the Interact, if there are no more money, and we will run out. But at least by the end of this programming period, we will provide that. And the small shortcoming of that is that you will not get any certificate of those short courses, because these are short courses. This is something you can learn, you want to see and to do by yourself. Then the other service, the most important actually, is the certified trainings. So these certified trainings, there are in-depth trainings on the more broader topics that covers something that it goes in depth in the subject, and we estimate the effort of the participants from 12 to 20 hours. That's the effort of the participants to finish the certified trainings. I will explain you in the next slide how it will look in practice. But basically speaking, it will have multiple training components. It will be cohort based, so cohort means that people will work in groups. They will be repeated, those groups, with the same, and most importantly, there will be an assignment at the end. So people will, so your knowledge as a learner will be in some way checked, either by test or quiz or some assignment. You will have to provide something just to be sure that you gain some new knowledge, and in the end you will be rewarded with a certificate of completion, provided that everything that you finished all necessary activities in the certified trainings. So how it will look in practice? This is an example of a certified training. As you can see, these are the components. And components means that such a certified training will consist of an online event, online training, a self-paced learning, so some kind of online event, online learning. Then it may consist of in-personal training, so it means like a physical event where people will be invited to some place where they will do some exercises, for example. And then at the end, it can be, for example, written assignment. So you will be asked, for example, based on the knowledge that you gain, to prepare some kind of a I don't know, report or storytelling, for example, or some written assignment. How it will look in practice? So altogether, we assume that such a certified training should take approximately from 5 to maximum 8 weeks. But it doesn't mean that you will be involved in those 8 weeks, because, for example, the online training can take place on the first day of the certified trainings, and it will, let's say, your effort would be 2 hours. Then you will have, I don't know, maybe 40 days, 4 weeks to finish the self-paced learning, online learning, which will be estimated 4 hours for you to do it in this period of 4 weeks. Then there will be 2 days physical training, physical exercise, which the effort is like 2 days, which means more or less 12 hours of work, of the real work. And then in the end, you will have 2 weeks to write a final report or anything like that, which may take you 2 hours. So altogether, it will be 20 hours of your effort. So that's the certified training, which will have those components. And such a certified trainings will be repeated in groups. So group 1 will, for example, for group 1, it will be offered from 20th of February to 20th of April. So those 8 weeks, 2 months, and maximum 24 participants. And the same will be repeated to group 2 in September and November 24, and the same to the next group in 2025, for example, from June to August. And these are what we call cohorts. So those groups and cohorts, it's a synonym in our understanding. So what kind of trainings we will be offering from today? So today there are two first certified trainings with the registration open. First one is a storytelling in Interact, which our colleague Nebosia will run. So the registration is open, you can register, but the training will start from 3rd of November. And it will start with the first, this online event for 2 hours, let's say 1.5 maybe, to introduce and inform you about the further step. And then the other which we will offer from today is the Interact project management. And again, registration is open, but the real training will start from 14th of November. Both of these certified trainings, they will consist of physical event, and the physical event will take place around first or second week of December. So you will, if you will go to the website after the event, you will see exactly the time frame of the whole training program, when exactly you will have online event where you will have to do online learning, when there will be a physical event where it will be then the assignment later on. And then the other one is about Evaluation Foundation. It will start in 12th of January 24, but the registration will be open only in 21st of November. So that's the plan. So that's this one is let's say in a pipeline. And if we are talking about our future plans, so as I said, these are the first for the opening, but we will also have some other trainings in the plan. So, for example, fundamentals in the program communication, we expect to launch this training program, certified training in February, March 24, with the registration still maybe open in December and late December this year. Then program management for beginners, April 24. Then second cohort of the project, this is what I told you, that we will repeat things, and the project, Interact project management will be repeated in spring 24. Exact dates will be provided on the later time, but for the cohort 2, for the group 2. Then we will also have program evaluation practitioners in spring 24. In the summer, we want to have a project assessment, monitoring, and verification for the program officers who deal with the project on the everyday basis. So in the summer 24, then strategic thinking in the project management, autumn, and management of verification in winter 24. But it's not all. There will be more. These are just examples of the training programs that we are working now, and we are developing them, and we will offer them in the given time frame, as I said. But as I said, it's not only the certified trainings that we are providing, because there are also those short courses, and at the moment there are 6 of them available for you to join and start working. First one is about, I'm basically speaking that those training programs, these are the ones taken from our online learning platform that some of you might know. I saw in the survey that we made in the very beginning of this webinar that some of you might be familiar with them. The point is that we moved all of them or some of them already to the new platform, and from end of or mid-December, the old platform will be shut down, and everything will be only provided through the academy. So as you can see, there are already 6 short courses which are available, which you can take. You can register. You can go and check and learn already now. Maybe a few words about the technicalities. I don't want to go into very details, but the most important thing is that you would need each of you will have individual account where you have to log into the platform and and further to have access to it. But the good news is that those of you who have already access to our Interact collaboration platform, so for example, those who have ever been registered to any of our events, like for example, this event that we are having now, you have to register and you have to submit your request, so you can use the same login and password also for the Academy. So you don't need to do, or you would need to simply remember it or somehow find it somewhere where you have it stored. So the good thing is that it's the same. Usually, it's your email address and the password that you have put to the platform. Of course, new colleagues which would need to create their own login and password, they would need to register as a new user. But as I said, the good element of that is that you will have access to all Interact services in a way. So I would say that's most from my side. Kevin, I'm coming back to you, and I think that's the moment where we can open the floor for discussions, for the questions, and I think we are really right on time. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Robert. Yes, it's back to me now. The floor is open for discussion, and we'll use our Slido tool to ask questions. So please have a look in Slido. We posted the link in the chat a minute ago. And obviously, one of the things for Slido is you can like the questions. This helps us prioritize what we'll spend the next 15 minutes or so discussing. There are two types of questions. I was going to share the Slido, but I'm going to ask the two questions we've had in Slido first. The first one, I guess, Robert, probably for you, in terms of who can take the training, the certified trainings. Sorry. So questions here about, is it open to MAJS staff? Can trainees take the courses? What about MAJS and contact point employees?
Okay, it's for everyone. That's my quickest answer. Of course, each training is dedicated for certain groups. I show you, for example, the example of the project verification, monitoring, and assessment. And of course, it would be it will be designed mainly for the project officers working in the secretariats or managing authorities and so on. But in general, the Academy is open for anyone who would like to learn. But you should be also aware that we will have some selection criteria, because as you may be aware, we will work in those cohorts, so 25 people, and if suddenly to one group will have 50 or 60 people, we will need to pick those who are the most relevant for the group. But nothing is lost, because if we see that there is a huge demand, we will simply repeat the training program. So this is how we are going to do, and that's the plan. I hope I answered. Maybe we can go for the next one.
Perfect. So yeah, hopefully that answered everyone's question. It's open for everybody. If you don't feel it was answered, you'll have to ask the question, because I'm going to hide those questions now. We'll move on to the Slido in a second, but the second question was about the physical elements of a certified training. I guess first thing before I start would be to say not every certified training has a physical event. Is that correct, Robert? Maybe you can tell us a bit more about how these component structures are used and what it means if you can't make the physical event that's in a training program.
Okay.
A certified training.
Yes. So first, about the logic. The logic is that if most of the or actually all training programs will have two main elements. One element will be like a theory. The other element will be practice. And the theory mostly will be given by online learning tools, and practice will be provided by different types of exercise. And those exercises can be either by online events or by physical events. And Kevin, you are right. Not all the certified trainings will have a physical event where we'll meet. probably most of them, but not all. And how it will be organized. So when you see that the registration is open, for example, as I said, for the let's say project management, which is closer to my heart because I'm responsible for, the training program will start in what was the date? I will remind myself. The training will start on 14th of November. Registration, as I said, is open now. But you will know during the registration process what are the components, what are the elements of the training. So, for example, when and where the physical event or the online event will take place. So that's for you the message information that if you are able, for example, to take part in this training, certified training, because you can see that that in this case the physical training, physical meeting is it will take place on 12th and 13th of December this year, and it will be in Denmark. So this is already for you a heads up. So it's up to you to decide if you will be available on that time. But at the same time, you should know that, as I said, those trainings, certified trainings, will be repeated. So you can then. But what we expect from you, if you register, that you will take part in that, because then you will simply take place of some others who are also registered. So be careful when joining certain training programs, because yes, to be simply fair with the others who might join. Yeah. Okay.
Thanks, Robert. There was another question which is kind of related to this. I'll share the Slido now, and I need to clean it a little bit because it answers quite a few of the questions in those two, hopefully. The certified training, is it mandatory to do every component of a certified training, every element of it, or are there elements of it which are optional? I don't know if that's Jan or Robert. I'm sending everything to you, Robert. So Jan, feel free as well if you're the expert to come in. Most questions on practicalities rather than methodologies, maybe. But Robert, maybe.
Okay, I will maybe take this one as well. It would depend from the certified training to certified training. In general, yes, most of those components would be obligatory, because, as I said, the point is that first you will take you will need to learn some theory, and then you will practice this in some way during the exercise. But so in order to do the exercise, you would need to know the theory. So that's the logic. But some parts might be optional. It would exactly depend on the structure of the specific certified training.
Yeah. For example, an example of something that could be optional would be, let's say, a weekly Q&A session, for example. It's not really a part of the content, really, but it's more about, people can, for example, a trainer could theoretically say, I want to have a weekly Q&A just to check in. People can come and ask questions, for example. Then that would be an example of something that's voluntary but not exactly mandatory. Yeah.
So if there is an online course that people should take, participants, learner will take, but the trainer would also allow for question-answer session if they understood correctly, if there are some questions. But if no, then it's not obligatory.
Thanks both. We've got 3 more questions, and we've still got some time. So if you have any burning questions, please feel free to add them into the chat. Maybe take the first obvious one. We've also got Petra here. Maybe it's the person to fill in here. Is there any funding to pay for the on-site training?
Well, we fund the whole training from our end, but if you want to participate, then you have to also dedicate some resources, and that means that the travel and accommodation needs to be paid by the participants. Everything else is covered by us.
Yes, so from that point of view, it's free of charge for you to take part. but you would need to finance your travel and accommodation. Exactly.
Thanks, Bo. In terms of languages, because I
Yes.
understand it's English only, but Robert, I don't know. Any
That's a
insights?
very interesting question because we discussed those issues, about the languages. For now on, it will be only in English, but maybe for the future, if there is like a really huge demand, we can create some dedicated trainings also in the national languages. But it's a bit tricky thing because we have so many languages in all over Europe that it would be quite difficult to make it. So as I said, it would be rather targeted for certain programs, certain areas, rather than we would translate existing ones. Probably we won't translate it.
Thanks, Robert. Okay. And then a question here about ENI CBC program participants. I guess if they're in the contact database, they can apply so that they're ready. We obviously would hope anyone who's in a program that's not continuing would stay in Interreg community. So I don't know if there's anything to add to that other than yes.
Of course, everyone is welcome. We are not limiting. If there are, as I said, if there are free spots and we are open, there are places anyone can. It's also, we were also discussing it. It's not purely for those who work in the program because some certified trainings will be also for those people who would like to learn and maybe become a part of the Interreg community. They would like to learn and maybe then be employed by some program because they will gain some knowledge. So it's not we are for the programs and are part of the community, but we are not closing our eyes further.
Perfect. There's an interesting question here about future courses. I know, Robert, you shared earlier some insight. I thought I saw Negotia in here as well, who I think is developing some of those courses, and a few other communication colleagues as well. Courses around storytelling. I think storytelling is our first course, but also aimed at project partners. Is this part of our plans for the Academy? I don't know who wants to come in there.
From my side, as the person who developed the training program, I'm really excited and I'm open to the idea. The first training program will happen now from 3rd of November until 6th and 7th of December. We'll see how that goes. I'll adapt the training program based on how it goes. And if there's enough interest, I will increase the number of cohorts, and I would also adapt the content if there's a specific target group that we're doing it for. So sounds exciting to me.
Thanks,
there's another training program I just wanted to mention that wasn't on the list that I'm also going to be working on, and that's the training program on video making. Also plan to launch next year in the second half of next year. Videos, get ready.
Yes, sorry, Nebojsa, that I didn't, put all the. But as I said, more to come. So there are really many things in the pipeline. It's just also a matter of our internal capacities if we can do everything, and but for the the database with different new trainings. The weekend, as I showed you on an example, so you will have, it will be a period of time where you will both in the training program, and you can, if it's an online part, you can do whenever you want, wherever you want. But of course, if there will be like a online meeting or physical meeting, of course it will be during the workday. I don't believe that anyone can come during the weekend, and it's simply like this, yeah.
Will there be certified trainings without in-person events? Yes, you already answered that one. But I just want to shout at one. that also was on the list. We are also doing, Interreg for beginners, which would be also with a broader target audience, and that won't be as is planned. That will be without an in-person event, so that will be exclusively online. So yes, there will be, and there is one certified training now in the pipeline, which also should be out around middle of next year, I believe, 2024.
Thanks, colleagues. Apologies, I had a slight technical issue for a second there. So thanks for colleagues for smoothly stepping in there. We've got one more question coming in, which I think then we'll end the Q&A session with, which is about the content here, I think, really, of the courses, and whether it's only by Interact staff or also externals, qualified program representatives here. Maybe you want to just reflect on how the content comes together to explain who delivers it.
In most of the cases, it will be Interact staff. The reason for that is if we want to repeat them, it will be extremely difficult to, because the idea is that once training program or certified training developed, it can be repeated for different cohorts. And bringing some external experts might be a bit tricky and quite logistic challenge behind it. That is why we believe that the most efficient way would be that we will do it, and by our colleagues and who are dedicated. But maybe in the future, if we'll see, because also for you to be clear, this is a new product that we are putting on the market, and we will test things. We will see what works, what doesn't. We will make it. We will adapt. We will make changes. Of course, we are always flexible, and that's our primary approach. So we will see if there will be such a possibility. If we see that that it can be, we might go for that work, for that use external expert as well at some point. So I would say we are not close to that, but at the moment we will do process.
Yeah, like you said, it's all new, and nothing is, well, there's not much that is off the table right now, because we are experimenting. We have a general idea of what we want to, how we want these things to be, but of course it's a massive experiment. It's a learning process for all of us, and it's also for us because this is the first time we're doing something like this. So yes, for the first cohorts, it should be, it's a exciting time, right? It's a bit of a guinea pigs in a way, because we are developing, we are testing, we will see what works. And as I said, we relate it back to how people learn, or this is how we learn. We can theorize all we want and try to gain all the knowledge we want, and try to learn everything, cram anything into our heads before, but we will not really know until we actually start doing things, until we actually start delivering. Then we will see and adapt how it goes. Yeah.
Thanks, Jon. You perfectly summed it up here. This is a learning outcome and objective for us in terms of how do we deliver the content in the best way that works for Interreg. From my side, thank you everyone for the questions. We have got the Slido open if you'd like to ask anything. I think it will be useful for us to scoop the questions up and put a Q&A document together, which I'm suddenly volunteering for, but I'm sure Jon and Robert will help make sure we've got that there, so information's available if you want to refer back to our answers. We've taken up 50 minutes of your time, which we're very grateful for. Of course, what we haven't yet done is shown you the beauty of the new tool, and also explained a little bit how to access it directly. And Robert, I think you would have a minute maybe just to show, for those that want to see it directly, a chance just to share your screen. And then obviously we'll encourage you to have a look around, and if you're interested in joining the first cohorts, you can already see how to enroll. And Robert will just quickly show you this now.
Okay, can you see my screen? I think you can. Yes, I see. So that's the main the homepage, where you can see and where you can choose from either certified training or short courses. You can also browse here. So if you pick for example, certified trainings, you can already see those 3 I showed you on the presentation, and you can go and see and read about the course overview, for who is it for, what is the learning objective, and then you can also see the course content. So, for example, as I gave you example on this one, so the introductory online meeting will take place on the 3rd of November. Then there will be some online workshop on 10th of November, and then there will be a physical event, in-person physical workshop. I see, that's a small. Let's maybe take the other one about the project management. As you can see, it's already indicated that it will take place on 12th of November, 12 and 13 actually, in Aalborg, Denmark. So then you would simply go to enroll. I'm not logging in as a person, so you would need to log in, and you will see enrollment options. If I would log in, unfortunately, I have an account of the manager, so it will be like a management, so I cannot show you, but it's pretty easy. You will see the some questions you would need to, or some questionnaire that you would need to fill in, and then just simply put enroll to the course. Simple as that. Nothing complicated, and it's similar with the short courses. You can view the course example, and then when you are logged in, you can simply enroll to the course. And here you can see also the indication how much time we estimate it can take you to finish such an online course. So please go to our website, browse it, see what is there, and the most importantly, as I said, it's just a launch. There are not that much content at the beginning, but we will enrich this content with the day. So please come back and check from time to time. And of course, the news will be also posted on our main website, where Kevin is mainly responsible. So whenever we launch or we put a new training or certified training, it will be also announced on the website that there is a new one. You can register. You can or the new cohort is to be launched. Then such information will be also provided on the main website.
Thanks, Robert. And maybe just to add to that, obviously the Newsflash is our most effective tool for getting in touch with you about new course launches or new cohorts being available. So please do make sure you're subscribed to the Newsflash. You can always email us if you have issues receiving it on communication@interact.e-eu. The usual communication URL. We're delighted we actually have interact.eu for this product, and the Interact website will also move in the new year to that, as well as our email addresses, but there's a few more technical steps. So we're just in a bit of a carryover period here before we make that move. But thank you, Severina, for posting the correct details in the chat there. But yeah, academy.interact.eu will take you to the academy. You can see and already explore it. And as Robert just highlighted, you can already enroll. We are 3 minutes ahead of schedule. So I'm delighted to say we've concluded the content from our side. Thank you very much, everybody, for your participation. We aren't running away. We'll stop the recording in a second, but if anyone has a burning question they didn't ask, we would invite you, if you wanted to stay in the room for a few more minutes while we're here. If not, I'd like to thank everyone for their participation today. We're very excited about the Academy. It's a very, very big part of what we want to achieve in Interact 4. And it's very important for us that the service actually meets your needs. So please also do come forward with us if something's missing, but we appreciate some of the challenges you've highlighted around in-person meetings. We will always make sure that this is part of our thinking when we offer these. The cohort strength is 25 people who can exchange with each other on networking and build out their own network, especially for the beginners courses. This is a real strength we feel that will offer you and the participants and the managers lots and lots of strength. So please do have a look, do consider enrolling, do help us reach out to new people as well. They might not always be aware of Interact services. So there's lots of opportunities, and please do make sure if there's anyone new in your program who you think would benefit from storytelling or Interact program management, the cohorts are ready and we're here to help you find them. So please do Have a look at the websites, have a look at the New Academy site, and the information on how to enroll is there, and reach out to us if you have any problems. Jon, Robert, myself, Severina, we're here to help, and we would be very delighted to see your colleagues or you yourself enrolled in one of our certified trainings. So thank you very much, everyone, for your participation today, and we hope to see you as part of one of our cohorts soon.